Hello everybody, I'm Edward and welcome to Chateau Crowley. So today we're going to learn how to make a loaf of focaccia bread, or at least I think we're going to try. Let's have a quick spin around the ingredients and perhaps we can actually start baking here. So we have 5½ teaspoons of Maldon salt, 4 tablespoons of butter unsalted, 2¼ teaspoons of dry active yeast, a bulb of garlic. Don't worry, there are no vampires in corner or anything like that. We're only going to use 4 cloves of that. If you like less, you can use less. 6 to 8 tablespoons of olive oil, 2¼ teaspoons, or sorry, 2 teaspoons of runny honey, 2½ cups of lukewarm water, and just in this bowl here we have 5 cups of all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you want a better structure. It doesn't really make any difference. So without further ado, let's just get baking and get this done. As I said, the first stage is to take the water. So I've got a mason jar here, which is the easiest thing to do it in. I'm going to add the water, so I've already got ½ cup in there. I'm now going to put the honey into here, so that's some honey. Difficult to get out of here actually, which is more difficult than it looks, because it really should have been warm, I suppose. So I'm really making a bit of a pig's ear of this. Give that a whisk up. Try and dissolve it as much as we can. And then we're going to take this yeast, take that garlic bulb off of there, and then the yeast then goes into here. This would have been easier if I'd have had it in plastic pots to do this, but we've done it like an 80s television cookery programme where everything has to be laid out on a plate. You don't want your salt to touch your yeast because it will kill it. Top tip of the day. So you can see, you can give that a good mix. It's a fluid process. You know, it doesn't look particularly attractive. I'm not doing it particularly right, but it'll work. So this is a really boring bit. So give it some welly. It's what you've got to do. Give it some welly. Okay, so it's already started to foam a couple of minutes in. So if I just tip that for you. So this is really, really brand new, fresh, active yeast. Just do that, and you can see the level on it. So as you can see, the yeast has risen up. It's doubled. Not even doubled. It's got foaming. Yeah, it's just looking really good. So what we're going to do is we're then going to take this flour that we prepared earlier. And we are going to add our salt to this. Looks like quite a bit of salt, but I won't worry too much about it. It's just going to give it loads of flavour. So I've just mixed that salt, that Maldon salt, into this flour. Okay? And I'm now taking this yeast, which is bubbled up. I'm going to dump it all into here. Like that. Nice and easy. And then we're going to give that a good mix together. You want basically, the recipe calls for a shaggy dough to be formed, so not too smooth at the moment. Can be pretty loose. So this is what I'm going to say now. Is I've got quite a lot of dry flour at the bottom of the bowl. So even though the recipe called for 2½ cups of flour, all flours vary. Some will absorb more water than others. Depends on the length of how long you've had your flour. I'm going to add a little touch more water to this, just to bring the dough together. Okay, so I've got a little bit of just lukewarm water. I'm going to pour just a touch in. Don't want to go too mad with it. The dough should be quite wet when you do this. I think we're getting there actually, if I'm honest. The recipe calls for a shaggy dough, but I've still not kind of worked out what that means, shaggy dough, you know. So we're going to get to that point with that. I'm going to get my hands in now, I don't care. So my hands are clean. I'm going to start bringing all of this together. So you don't have to worry about it forming a nice smooth ball like you would do with normal bread, but we'll talk about normal bread a bit later. It's a wet, shaggy dough. So I'm going to take this big bowl, it's the biggest bowl I've got, because this dough is going to double up in size. Now I'm going to take about half of our olive oil, pour it into the bowl, and I'm going to take our bread dough, dump it into here, and roll this dough around in the olive oil. And now we've covered this, we've used this beeswax coated cotton. We're not following the 8 hours in the refrigerator method for this dough. We're just going to leave the dough out for 4 hours to double in size, and then we'll show you what it looks like in about 4 hours time. I had a quick peek in here a little earlier on, and I think the dough is actually ready. So let's get rid of this. So look, that dough is bubbly, it's alive.
What are you doing?
I'm just listening to the bubbles popping in the dough. So we're going to take part of this dough and bring it over. And this bit and bring it over. Do a quarter turn. Over. And over. We've got a rough ball forming there, yeah? So the next step is to transfer this dough to a greased baking sheet. The recipe calls for a 13x9 baking sheet. I think mine is a little bit bigger than that. Size doesn't matter though, does it really? So I'm spreading it out into the pan. That's going to sit for an hour uncovered completely, and then we're going to play the dough like Beethoven.
It's Beethoven.
No, it's Beethoven.
It is not. It's Beethoven.
Beethoven?
Who taught you that?
Beethoven. This had about an hour. So it's doubled up. Look at this monster in size. I'm going to play this dough like Alicia Keys. Is what I'm going to do. So the little bit of oil we've got left, we're going to drizzle over the top. Don't forget, this is a well buttered, well oiled pan, and we're going to do this. I'm going to dimple it. Ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba. I can't think who that was. Was that Beethoven's Fifth, or someone told me different? So we dimple all of this over. Get really good pasting over. Please God, let this rise up after I've done all this. But anyway, we're going to just stick it into the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, 450 degrees. I would say check it after 20. If it's not quite ready, just bump it up by 10 minutes or so. It should be crusty on the top. Well, it smells really good. I can smell it from here. So it's time to take the focaccia out of the oven. That looks about right, if I'm honest. So the focaccia shouldn't be really dark brown. It should be sort of golden. You can see all these dimples and the golden areas here and here. But the main thing is to test if it's cooked. And the only way to do that is to give it a tap. Sounds hollow, yeah? Bit like my head at the moment, very hollow. So let's go in there and just see what the texture is like. It's got a very crispy bottom, not a soggy bottom. I would say that that's pretty near to what we want. In fact, actually I'd say it's pretty cool, because look at those air bubbles through there. So you can see all these dimples we put in here with our fingers, and all the air bubbles it's created, all those pockets under there. And also, well, I'm happy, I'm really happy. I could easily eat this as a pizza crust, or with some pesto, or some good meats, or some cheese, or actually just by itself. It's really good just by itself. So as you can see, a lot of this focaccia is gone. It was really tasty and really quick, and actually really cheap for you to make. It costs probably, this whole pound of focaccia probably cost no more than about $3 to make. So really you should go to our website and find out the recipe, which is chateaucrowley.com. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.